Someone in Texas is probably going to hit 115 degrees today. In other news, it's also Friday, and we might be looking at a weather pattern change next week. Let's talk about it in this super duper awesome Blossom edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. And a very good morning to you. It is the 23rd of August, 2024, a Friday edition. The brain fog from the illness remains strong, but we'll try to wedge our way through it and hopefully do a little better than we did yesterday, keeping ourselves on track and, not having the program crash. At least my head is nice and bald once again, and the beard is tamed. That's about as much of an accomplishment as I can attain for yesterday and today. Weather-wise, it was hot yesterday. Several cities in the state hit 113 to 114 degrees, and, well, it's not looking all that much better today, but we do have the chance for some thunderstorms this morning into this afternoon across the Arklatex, East Texas, the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas, maybe the Golden Triangle down to the coastal plains, kind of on the eastern periphery of our upper-level heat dome, high pressure, which is going to result in most of those thunderstorms drifting to the southwest. You can kind of see that ring of fire almost rotating around the state. As we get into tomorrow, we may see a few storms up in the Panhandle and West Texas. Again, today and tomorrow, any storms we have will have the potential of producing gusty winds over 45 miles an hour, cloud-to-ground lightning, maybe some small hail, and brief heavy rainfall. Someone in East Texas, Southeast Texas may get over an inch of rain today, but most folks will not see more than, a raindrop to, bird scatterings, I guess, would be more likely for majority of the state. Given the dry weather as of late, it's also possible some of those gusty winds could kick up dust. We had a pretty good wall of dust move in El Paso yesterday evening from thunderstorms down to Mexico, and that could be an issue again later this evening and again on Saturday. Fire weather conditions over the next few days on the Texas A&M Forest Service, looking at very high to locally extreme wildfire danger again today. Northwest Texas, the Panhandle, West Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, Edwards Plateau, down into South Central Texas, back up into the Big Bend, Trans-Pecos, Davis, Guadalupe Mountains, and the borderland of far West Texas. Tomorrow, Saturday, a little lower on the fire risk, but still looking at moderate to high to very high wildfire danger across the state. Let's take a look at the longer ranges. It's going to be the American Global Forecast System model, the longer range American weather model. And as we head through the weekend, we might see a pop-up shower or storm, especially, in far west Texas and maybe near the Texas Gulf Coast. But as we get into next week, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks like we may start to see the heat dome shift to the northwest of us, which would allow us to start seeing an influx of tropical moisture. And without all that sinking air overhead from that high pressure, we could start to see a return of at least isolated and maybe scattered thunderstorms during the afternoon hours across maybe a good chunk of the state. The popcorn type storms we like to talk about that we dealt with during June and July that pop up during the afternoon heating hours, aren't real organized but can dump a bunch of rain, push out strong winds when they're dissipating. It looks like that may be what we see happening this upcoming week, and it could be a multi-day thing where it just keeps on going over and over again each afternoon, which would be great because that would give us a better chance of getting some folks rainfall. Plus, with those pop-up shower and thunderstorm chances, we'd see a lowering of the afternoon temperatures because, cloud cover, local precipitation, and some of y'all, you end up under one of these showers or storms, you're going to get dropped into the 70s, and that would be pretty darn nice because it's been hot. Until then, guess what? It's still going to be hot. How about today? Well, guess what? We're bringing out the super duper spooky colors because it's going to be above 110 degrees this afternoon in northwest Texas. Childress, 111, Vernon, 111, 107 in Wichita Falls, Abilene, Sweetwater, Snyder, and it's worth knowing most of those areas hit 113 yesterday. We have 100 in DFW, 104 in the northwestern DFW suburbs. We're looking at about 100 in Waco, Austin, 102 in San Antonio, 97 in Houston, about 105 to 106 Del Rio, Laredo, 100 in McAllen, 104 in Sanderson, 106 up in Fort Stockton, and we're going to be looking at about 101 this afternoon in El Paso, 103 in Amarillo, 102 in Lubbock, Yeah, it's hot. Welcome to the hottest days of summer. And I can say that with some confidence based on the longer range forecast. Tomorrow, a wee bit cooler, the eastern third of Texas. We may see high temperatures only in the mid to upper 90s versus triple digits, but again, still 99 to 100 in DFW. 99 to 100 Waco, Austin, San Antonio, 96 in Houston, about 103 in Laredo Del Rio, so a few degrees cooler today, 100 in McAllen, 100 in Sanderson, 99 El Paso, still looking at about 102 to 108 Abilene, Midland, Odessa, all the way up into the eastern Texas, Panhandle, Northwest Texas, West Texas, and as we go into Sunday, now we start to cool it off a little bit. I say cool it off with the most utmost respect, but let's be realistic here. 96 to 100 is better than 105 to 115 degrees. So, yeah, it's summer, but it's still going to at least be several degrees less hot as we get into Sunday. And next week, check this out, we're starting to see temperatures mostly back in the 90s across Texas, but 80s for afternoon highs. Davis, Guadalupe Mounds, maybe the northwestern panhandle. And again, a lot of this is going to be due to the fact we're going to have increasing shower and thunderstorm chances. Now, by increasing, we're looking, again, maybe at 20 to 30% chance in the afternoon, each afternoon. Maybe we can make it higher as we get closer and data resolves, but that's enough to at least increase some cloud cover, bring some rain, cooled air, and thus it's going to be a little less hot. A lot of this also has to do with the fact the heat dome is going to be shifting northwest. And then here's Tuesday's high temperature forecast: 91 Amarillo, 90 in Lubbock, 93 El Paso, about 93 in Sanderson, 96 in Del Rio, 98 Laredo, still 99 in McAllen, 95 San Antonio, about 95 in Austin, 97 to 98 DFW, mid to upper 90s across the eastern half of Texas, maybe a couple of triple-digit temperatures still, but again, this is looking a heck of a lot better than, say, well, the last several days, today into tomorrow, where some folks were going to be talking being over 15 degrees less hot, which when it's 110, yeah, it's still going to be in the 90s, but, 90 to 95 to 98 is better than, 105, 108, 112. Longer range forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, well, it's not as bad as it could be. Still looking at warm weather continuing, final days of August to the 1st of September, above average temperatures probably. But as we take a look at the precipitation outlook, looking like above average chances of precipitation. Rio Grande Valley, deep South Texas, southern half of Texas really, into West Texas, the Panhandle, Big Bend, Permian Basin, Davis, Guadalupe Mounds, Trans-Pecos, the borderland, and then looking at average, or let's just say equal shot of below average, above average precipitation to maybe a wee bit drier across the Arklatex, East Texas. But again, this thing could be, browner than a pretzel, and we'd have issues. So it's about as good as we're going to get for this time of year. And with that, it is Friday, which means it's time to give ourselves a slap on the back if we're in the Spinny Doomers level. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Ryan Tucker, Anthony Pelusi, Manda Cakes, Jacob Benitez, Love, Live, Laugh, r/Tornado Chats, and Jacqueline Alvarez. Thank you for being Spinny Doomers here on the Texas Weather Center. I realize it is, in fact, the doldrums of August, meaning usually we're just a broken record, but hey, you know what? We're putting this content out. Doesn't matter if it's snowing, raining, storming, or relatively quiet, or, like me this week, you end up with the vid. That being said, I am feeling much better, as you can probably tell. I have managed to groom my head accordingly, and I no longer look like a disheveled buffoon. With that being said, it is going to be the typical 5-day schedule, which means we're going to have your next Texas Weather Roundup out bright and early here on Monday. We'll have updates as needed over the weekend, but, if the weather's going to be hot and mostly dry, let's just take a few days off. Maybe I can finally kick this, and we'll come back next week and try to be a little more organized. Until then, y'all have a great Friday.